I want to come to you guys tonight to just talk to you about tea. Many of you are mothers and mothers of sons, and I have 2 daughters which are grown, 29, if we make that correction. She'll be 29 in 2 weeks, and a 27-year-old. I have my very first grandchild, and I also have bonus grandchildren too. But my very first blood baby. She just turned 1 this past June. She is a handful. I watch her during the day. I recently just let go of my 9 to 5 of 27 years as of June 30th. And
liberation.
About that. 27 years dedicated to someone else. So I want to put those years, the remainder of my years, towards my business. Working corporate from 9 to 5, I couldn't really dedicate how I wanted to into my own business, and so now that I'm not doing that, I can focus on what I want to do with Sipping Inspirations, and we have a lot of things in store that we have planned, from apps to how to steep your teas to what you can pair with your teas and what have you. So we're going to be working on a lot of things to make Sipping Inspirations to be a household name. So I wanted to share with you tonight, because again, I know you guys are mothers and mothers of sons, and I know that they can be a handful. You know, some days you feel like you're pulling your hair out. You know, trying to rally them and get them together and whatnot. They're different from girls. But nowadays these girls are just as rambunctious as our sons. But I wanted to introduce to you just another way of self-care for yourself. A part of my business was really and truly geared towards women, and for us being able to take time for ourselves. I create a box called Take Time For Me, and it's specifically a box for you. It could be for your birthday, it can be for weddings, it can be for whatever occasion it is, but you want to give someone, or maybe just for yourself. And part of my box include customized teas, so I do custom blendings, as Heather mentioned earlier. I did a signature tea for her. One of her teas is the vanilla white tea, and we also got for her a peach lemon green tea. So I do customize teas for different ones. What I like to do is sit down with my clients, talk with them, and get a sense of who they are. Whether you know it or not, you can actually pair personalities with teas. So you might be a fruity type person that likes fruit teas. You might be someone that more or less towards your black teas or Earl Greys, or then you may just be a latte person. You know, give me some cream and some sugar, and you know, make it really good and creamy for me. My lattes are the bomb, I have to say. I was a person that goes to Starbucks. I would give them all of my money. It was nothing for me to go to Starbucks and spend $10 on a cup of coffee, you know, and until I started hacking in and working those ingredients and making it my own. So my green tea matcha is monster. And also just my other teas as well. I also do elixirs. I do ginger and turmeric, which is really good for you around this time of the year. Actually all year, but mainly towards this time of the year. You can also do it, share it with your kids as well. My kids love tea. My granddaughter loves tea. Whenever I hear a little cough, we get the peppermint tea out, which is also I think one of the things that most people don't realize about tea, how important it is to brew it as it's supposed to be brewed. You know, so if you're getting a package from Target, or you're getting your Lipton from Myers, or wherever you get your tea, you purchase your tea from, it's important to follow these instructions on how to tea it. How many times have you had your tea and left your tea bag in there and it becomes bitter? You know, and whether you know it or not, when you have your tea, when you're making your tea, when it's hot, it has a different taste. When it cools off, it has a different taste. When it's cold, it has a different taste. So your palate is always changing when it comes to tea. One thing about women that they will always say, especially in the tea world, you never know how strong a woman is until you place her in hot water. How many of us have been in hot water? Been in situations where you just, and you never know your strength. And that's what it is even with the tea bag. When you put your tea, it infuses that water. The water doesn't infuse the tea. It infuses that water with what it is. And so, with you guys being moms, you need to be able to take time to just, if it's 5 minutes, if it's just 3 minutes, however long, you can get away for yourself and have a cup of tea. It is comforting, it is relaxing, it is the second most consumed beverage in the world outside of water. It's an $8 billion business, tea. And one of the things that attracted me to it, honestly, I'm embarrassed myself, but it doesn't matter. When I was young, I was always attracted to black and white movies. Probably dating myself, like Betty Davis and all those ladies. We didn't really see a lot of representation of ourselves. What attracted me to it is because it's the elegance of it. They would get dressed up, put on their pill hats and their purses and, their pencil skirts, and they would go, we're going to the country club and we're going to have tea. That always attracted me. So when I was young, when I got up to some age and I was able to go into the kitchen, when I would prepare my meals, it was only something like this. I would have a cup and a saucer. I would have my toast cut diagonally. I would have 1 egg, and just I would create that scene for me. I would create that atmosphere for me. And so that carried on into my adulthood. And then my great aunt, Miss Aunt Pearl and Aunt Pearl, they were sisters. They grew up in the 1920s era, and they were chic. They were just classy women. And whenever they would set a table, they would have their tea. They would have the linens. They would have all the fine flatware, gold, silver, and everything, all situated and set up perfectly. Whether it was for dinner or if they were just having afternoon tea, they were bougie like that. So it wasn't uncommon. So that was always attractive to me. And so as I got older and got off into other things, I got away from it. And then one day I was asking God, what should I do? What can I do? I was in church, been in church all my life. And in 2014, it was like, get back into tea. Tea in itself is a ministry. Tea is healing. Tea is calming. Tea is a staycation in a cup. Tea is meditation in a cup. Tea is peaceful, and so even for our coffee lovers that dabble over in tea, or our tea lovers that dabble over in coffee, the difference between coffee and tea, coffee generally is in the morning. People need that rush. I need that quick, that quick high right quick to get me going and get going to what I need to do. But tea is also that comforting, so when you come home in the evening and you can take a few minutes to yourself, Sometimes you may have to just go in the room, or you may have to steal away. Sometimes my car has been my safe haven. I don't know about anyone else. Have you got to the house and stayed in the car for a while? You stayed in the car because it was something about the car, something about when you close that door, it's almost like a silence that comes into that space. And so we need that sometimes just to unwind, just to get ourselves back together so that we can go in and deal with our daughters or with our sons or with our spouses or whomever, and be able to be in a different space. When you can focus, when you can get yourself centered, when you can just quiet yourself, it's something about when you have a quiet space. It's unmatched. It's unmatched with anything. And your peace is what matters most. Your peace is what matters most. And if you can get that peace through a cup of tea, I want to share that with you. I also do buttermints. Again, it's from my great aunt, because she always has those buttermints on the table. We can go and grab a handful. So I do homemade buttermints. I also do sugar cubes, flavored sugar cubes, regular sugar cubes. And I also do tea cakes and tea sandwiches. So whenever I have an event, I put together like our tea sandwiches. Now my cup is not always filled with tea. Sometimes I might have a little